Hey guys, Banana Lock here. Welcome back to another Watch Our Realms video. So we have the Wukong banner that's coming out right tomorrow. So basically this video is going to explain to you if you should go for this banner and also talk about the Rygar and Raizan banner in the mix as well, because I think they all do play a part in coming together to see whether or not this is a relevant weekend for you banner-wise. So first of all, we have Wukong and Selkath. We don't really care about the epic, we only care about Wukong. Wukong is still one of the most top tier units in the game. In Abyss, he's about to be not so mandatory with the introduction of Raizan. If you look at other areas of the game, the Styx Codex, as well as the arena and single target, Wukong is still one of the best units there. I don't think Raizan is going to dethrone him there. So that's just one of the few things that you need to consider if you have watched my video on Raizan. Raizan only replaces A5 Wukong in Abyss. Nowhere else can Wukong actually be replaced. So whether you should summon depends on a few things. First of all, if you already have Wukong or not. If you don't have your base copy of him, definitely summon for him. If you're looking for Awakenings, yours is not A5 yet, definitely summon for him as well. If you do have Unpolished Soulstones in him, definitely summon for him. But the question is whether you should spend all your summons on Wukong, because we do have new heroes that have been hinted that will be useful in the new Cerberus Matrix boss, which is pretty tough at the moment, so I'm assuming the new units might power creep things and make it a lot easier. So I have 3 Unpolished Soulstones here. I don't nearly have enough summons to get there. Probably gonna just pull for 1 copy and let it be. But if let's say you have like 2 Soulstones inside, maybe you can try to push if you have like 600 summons and beyond. Otherwise, it's still a pretty big gamble. You could wind up not getting anything and, stretch yourself too much. And, eventually what happens is that you don't actually have enough summons for the new units that come. So that being said, we also have Raizan and Yuri. So if you're summoning for Wukong, definitely PD manipulate for this. We'll talk about this in the later parts of the video. Both of these units are going to be decent in the areas that they are in. Raizan at A0 can replace Wukong A5 in Abyss. You do need a Rygar and Kigiri A5 for that to happen, to actually hit 60k. It is a very specific team, but if let's say you already have Wukong and Kigiri at A5, Raizan can also be the last nightmare unit that just does a lot of damage, because he specializes in Abyss with the fact that he does more damage to shields. That is simply what he does. So Yuri, on the other hand, is going to be very handy when it comes to anti-air arena. That's where she shines really well at the moment. The top teams in anti-air are actually Eova, Alex, Yuri, Erlang, as well as Diao Chan. So Awakenings are not too bad. A2 to A3 is basically just increased damage. A5 is the one that really falls off, but I think other than that, Yuri is still going to be pretty great. It is a decent banner, I'll say. Not as good as the Nurture Numera one, but if you're summoning anyways, why not PD manipulate for that? Then comes to the last bit, which is Rygar and Canalian. For Raizan to really work out, if you're looking at minimally not having A5 Wukong, you kind of need Rygar for that mix to happen. So if you watch my video where we tested Raizan, it was actually Rygar, Raizan A0, Kigiri A5, as well as A1 Moradin that actually broke the last shield without Wukong. So without Rygar, it's going to be pretty tough. So I think that's why things come together. But the question you gotta ask yourself is, do you have units like Ingrid, Valara, Pope, Nastia? Because all of those units are going to be much more versatile than Rygar. And that is potentially a reason why you want to skip out on this banner. And the potential of a new lot as well, because we don't know what the 2 units that were teased. What are they in terms of rarity? Are they lots? Are they normal units? So that's just some things to consider. So yeah, that's whether you should summon. Now let's talk about PD manipulation. So in case you guys are not aware, there's a PD timer rule in this game where after 180 summons without any legendary, you basically get a 5% rate up on each summon, and it basically guarantees you a legendary once you hit 200 summons. And if let's say you hit a legendary before that or whatnot, it just resets. And if you want to take a look at your PD, just go to summoning record and you count back how many summons you have done. So in my case, we have 93 and 105, 135, and then over here another 5, so 140 summons since our last legendary. So that's how you count PD. And next thing to take note of is limited banners. Limited banners always guarantee the unit within 200 summons, but this 200 summons refers to summoning on the particular limited units banner. So if let's say like me, I summoned 140 times before that, it wouldn't actually count towards this 200 summons here. I will need to do 200 summons specifically on Wukong's banner. Now we'll actually pull up this infographic now. So first of all, we'll just focus on the text box at the bottom. So PD manipulation works only because Wukong is guaranteed at 200 summons unless you get him earlier. And we talked about the PD timer earlier, so that's clear. And then one other thing to note about this situations that I'll explain to you in a bit. If you do pop your PD before 200 summons on Wukong banner for a random legendary, or if you get lucky enough to get Wukong earlier, you would not actually get him again 200 summons later on the banner. So basically, once you get Wukong earlier, you will not actually get him at the 200 summon mark. Alright, so now we'll move on to the situations. First one, you're fresh in the PD, maybe you just put for 1+1 last week. What you want to ideally do is do 180 summons on Wukong, then switch over to the Wukong banner, the Raizan and Yuri banner, which is happening on Friday, which means you have to wait for a day. Summon 20 times there, that's going to prop your default PD legendary. So hopefully you get either one of those units. Then you swap back to Wukong's banner, you summon another 20 times on there. That will bring you to 200 summons in total on Wukong's banner, which then in 220 summons gives you 2 legendaries instead. Then the next scenario is, let's say if you're like me, you dip into PD. Let's say in this situation it's 160. You put 20 times on the Wukong banner, and because you're already at soft PD, you switch over to the Raizan Yuri banner, summon 20 more times, and then you're going to pop a legendary there. And then after that, you're going to come back to the Wukong banner, summon 179 times, which brings you to 199 total summons on the Wukong banner. You switch over to Raizan and Yuri because you're close to PD again. Summon 21 times there, that's going to guarantee you another legendary. And then you switch back to the Wukong banner, do 1 summon, and with a total of 241 summons, you have gotten 3 legendaries in total. So that's how PD manipulation works. If you do have questions on this, leave it down in the comment section below, or you can even pop by my Discord if you have more specific questions and images that will actually help in solving your issues. So yeah, that's why in this case it is much better off to actually wait for Friday, because you want to PD manipulate and you don't want to wind up accidentally summoning on the wrong banners and screwing up your PD manipulation. So make sure you wait till Friday to actually get the summons done, and do the Wukong one first when you're close to PD, swap over to Raizan, and then once you get the legendary on this banner, you swap back to the Wukong one and finish things off there. So we also have the Yuri artifact forge that's coming up. That's nice. It is a pretty good artifact for the anti-air arena, because it basically allows her to target the unit with the lowest HP no matter what, ensuring that she kills them and gains back reach from her ultimate. So yeah, looking pretty promising. That's basically all I had to mention about this banner. Hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next video, and good luck on your summon.